Welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I'm a woman on a mission to assemble a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. This is episode number 12, Self-Betterment versus Moral Law. The study of virtues goes back to the earliest days of philosophy, the earliest days of man's reflection on what it means to be a human being. Socrates and Plato, Aristotle, and then Augustine and Aquinas much later. They really deeply wanted to know how a human person could, using the powers within themselves, make themselves into a better human being. That evolved over time. The study was good, the research was fantastic, it was studied in enormous depth and detail. But it became codified, it became solidified, it became cemented into a set of laws. This is how you must live. Well, not a bad thing to have good choices made into laws, I guess, but where's human reason in that? Where is any part of consent in that? It seems so dictatorial that it was somewhat, by degrees, in recent times, sort of abandoned. First of all, it became secularized. It went from the law of the faith and religion and God's laws for us to moral law, to the way people ought to behave secularly. But there was still a bunch of laws. And now, with positive psychology, with the work of Peterson and Seligman and many others, those two working to classify character traits and virtues, the study is now wrapping back around again, and the focus is once again in a very, very important and instructive area. How can mankind, how can men better themselves through an understanding of character traits and virtues? You know, I find it of exquisite value for the fiction writer. That's my focus. That's my audience. I address writers of fiction. But I found in conducting my 35-lesson class that fiction writers aren't the only ones drawn to the class. And even those drawn to the class because they were fiction writers are finding that they get a lot more out of it than just ideas for character development. They are discovering that, wow, when you begin to understand some of your less accessible virtues, less accessible character traits, the ones that are a bit beyond your reach, that when you actually reach out and touch those and bring them down to the place where you have conscious control over them, that enormous strides in life can be made. I believe that every character trait, and I study 28 of them, every character trait that is not fully integrated into the human person is a loss. It's an absence that the human person misses. And the amazing thing is that by studying them systematically and being able to analyze, I would say for your character, because I address fiction writing, adapt it for yourself if you like, but every one of those that isn't fully expressed in the human person is a piece of potential that's locked away. And it's not just potential that's lost, it's energy, it's motivation. Because when you think about it, I teach a set of character traits where I also teach where they fall in human awareness. The traits, some of the traits fall well within the awareness of the human person. The person knows, or the character knows, that they are making a choice in this area. It's like, should I or shouldn't I? A decision is made. If you read a self-help book or some kind of book that's designed to get you past a barrier or through a resistance that you're struggling with, sometimes the books help and sometimes they don't. But if you think about it, the books are only capable of helping with the character traits that they help you identify and those that are already in the area, the zone, where the human person can make a conscious choice. If the character traits you need to get over your stuck spot in life, or the character traits that you need to develop your full potential are out there in the stratosphere for you, untouchable for you, unreachable for you, then there is no value to be gained at all out of those self-help books, because they'll be telling you to do something that you cannot do. This does not mean that you cannot make the needed changes. It means that just as a fictional character must go through a hero's journey to reach and capture the character trait transitions that he needs to gain in and grow in to complete the hero's journey, in just such a way, a person who is struggling against resistance or against inability to achieve their full potential needs to be able to make that same kind of a journey. And if you're going to be making a journey, it sure helps to do so with the aid of a roadmap. So that's my feeling, is that laws just give you a list of things. Did I, nope, I broke that one. But the character traits give you something to assess. Where is that in my life? How am I incorporating that into my life? And that will give you a pathway to betterment. And not only that, along with it, it will give you the motivation to get there, because now you can see that you are actually making progress. And when you begin to unwrap those character traits that are not fully developed, they just energize you. And I'm 76 years old, and I can tell you, if I have more energy now, way more energy than I had in my 30s. And I believe that it's through the study of the character traits that potential and energy and so much good can come out of it. That's why I'm studying it, and thank you for following along on my podcast. Check out KathleenSpracklin.com. Sign up for my mailing list, because I have some pretty exciting news coming out. I'm writing a book, for one thing. Thank you. Bye-bye.